Now, you guys follow a number of companies. How many companies roughly are included in your newsletter? 60, 70 companies?
Including Bob's.
Yeah.
Okay, 60,
Definitely
70 companies.
60.
How many of those companies are headquartered in the Far East?
Very few.
Very few.
Yeah.
Reason being because there aren't a lot of opportunities over there right now, in your opinion, I would assume?
It's partly that. It takes a while to get set up. There hasn't been a big movement to Asia. There was, early in the cycle, there was a movement to China.
Yeah.
And we did participate in that to some degree. But there hasn't been a broader movement into the rest of the continent. We have one company working in Thailand. It's a regional player. There's 3 or 4 juniors, I think, in Thailand.
The last time I talked to you, believe it or not, we had a conversation over the telephone. It wasn't very long ago, and you were in Thailand, yeah.
And that's half the reason right there. The other half is that partially for time zone reasons, it's been much easier to work in the Western Hemisphere, and there's been an enormous amount of opportunity put on the table, so you maintain a focus there. We have a few more companies working in Africa that we talk about. Several of them have been amongst our strongest picks. But again, early in the cycle, we've been able to focus in a time zone where I get some sleep. And
sleep is important,
Sleep is important.
Yeah.
But that's starting to change. There'll be more. I mean, we've done very well in Europe, for example. It isn't a conscious exclusion. It's simply a recognition of that other things were good elsewhere. I'd actually like and expect to be spending more time in Asia now because, the shift has happened. I mean, some of the best projects have been taken up in the Western Hemisphere. Asia will open up more. As I said, it's a slow process in China, but that's generally true of Asia. It just takes longer to get things done.
Oh, yeah.
There's been a small enough number of companies that even in areas where they're a little bit thicker on the ground, like Indonesia, there's still some infrastructure challenges, and things just don't get done very fast. And that's tough on a junior. I mean, I think that scared people off because they see situations where, they're getting one drill hole out every 3 months, and it's just a killer if you're a guy who's even on a good project who's trying to raise money. It's difficult to have the kind of staying power, I think, unless you decide right at the start you're going to focus on one of those areas, and you raise a large enough amount of money that you've got a couple of years staying power to get things set up and get it done. I think that's almost the way you got to go.
If you want to look at opportunities in China that haven't been taken up, again, moving back into the concept that there will be no capital coming from the central government, an area they haven't focused on but are starting to of necessity is the ecology, is environmental issues.
Yeah, I understand that.
And a number of the operations in China have those issues, as they have had elsewhere in the world. It makes a huge amount of sense if you're going to properly treat at an operation in China to bring the foreign expertise and capital in at the same time to do it, which is going to mean giving up a piece of the deposit.
Yeah.
By doing that, there's advantages to the owner, if you will, to the lower levels of government that are inherent, because the central government is going to have to start dictating that this stuff gets done. That may be where the opportunities open up, and that may be where you see China as a destination for foreign mining capital really start to blossom, because I can see a win all around if you focus that way, and that opens several very strong belts that could use that level of help.
These are two, as I said at the outset of this little conversation, these are two guys who are very, very competent, great experience, great educations, etc. I would strongly suggest, if you have an interest in junior resource companies, and obviously you wouldn't be listening to this if you didn't, or watching it if you didn't, I would strongly suggest that you follow the link which we provide on our website to the Coffin Brothers website. They provide information that is very, very valuable to those folks who are interested in investing in the resource industry. Their information is unbiased, it's factual, it's arm's length. I would recommend you take a look at it. You guys, thanks for joining me. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.